Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm not sure if I love this angle anymore. I know I just started using this, but I feel like you're far away. I still don't like how much sound my microphone is doing. Like it'll catch a harsh cough, but I still feel like I sound muffled. I don't know what's going on with that, but anyway, welcome to Tara Woodruff After Hours. This is my vlogging channel. If you haven't been here yet, welcome. It's a brand new. I think as of right now, I have 3 subscribers, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so I'm not here for making a big old influencer account or anything like that. I'm really here to document for myself. And in that process, if that helps someone else, excellent. This is a practice that I used to when I learned how to study and do well on tests in school. Like I wanted to be a academic. That's what I wanted to be for a long while. Um, and I wanted to learn how to just really not spend a lot of time studying and how to really absorb information so that I could, you know, bust out those term papers and pass my exams with flying colors. And I was able to maintain a very good GPA. I think the lowest it ever got to was like a 4.3 or something like that. But in the heat of my pursuit of higher education, I was more of a 4.75 or whatever, like a lot. So it was great. And one of the things I learned, and thus kind of like the root of what this channel is about for me, is when I learn something, I teach it immediately. And it totally helps me to understand what's going on. So in this vlog, I talk a lot about my way of eating. I'm going to talk a lot about things that I learned about that here and refer you to the experts because I'm not this isn't college anymore, and I'm not really interested in citing my works outside of sharing with you where I learned it from, and they'll have the work cited, kind of thing. So that's what's up with that. I'm going to talk about business a little bit. I might even do some cleaning content. I definitely want to cook with you. I just put up a ketovore chili video. It's a little long, but and it definitely doesn't look good. Like I'm not great at this editing or taking clips and mashing them together. I'm not sure what's up with that. Hopefully, it becomes less painful as I get better at it. Um, for you guys, you know. Uh, so yeah, that's what's up. I wanted to talk about a recent video that I watched by Chase Hughes. I talk about him quite a bit. Um, and the name of the video is It's Worse for You. And he discusses from a psychological point of view or a spiritual point of view. It depends on how you look at it. Really, that's really going to be you, how you approach that video. The breakdown of what is going on in the movie. Uh-oh. I can't remember the name of the movie. Truman Show. The Truman Show. That's it. I've never watched the movie. I almost sometimes feel like I don't want to watch it because I do understand that where you put your attention, thoughts follow. And I also have a lot of theories and conspiracy theories about what's going on right here and right now with all of us. Like, for instance, it's really hot out, and that's normal. It's that time of year. Um, but sometimes I wonder if that's real, like that kind of thing. So he breaks down the Truman Show, and he does it so well. Actually, I feel like I could watch it now, knowing kind of like the angle it's coming at, and it's this thing that some of our relative neighbors or relative people or co-inhabitants of this place or plane, um, they have to let us know what they're up to. kind of thing. And that's one of those movies that'll do that, like The Matrix. That there's a bunch. What was it? The one with the wrestler where every time he took down his glass, put his glasses on, he could see what was really happening, kind of thing. I can't remember the name of that, but I watched that years ago, and I've watched The Matrix several times. So, cheers to you guys. This is my Sunshine LaCroix. I just purchased some more. I'm kind of addicted to them. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's not why we're here. At least I know what that's going to taste like. I'm nervous about the next one. But anyway, so this is a really good thing to kind of keep ourselves level. And I'm going to go over what he talks about. I recommend you go watch the video that he does. It's a long one and it's great. But I want to go over so I can kind of learn better and understand this more because I think it's important. So, number one, when you see something that's going on and you don't like it, or maybe something's happening in your life that you're like, oh no, or you see some sort of information coming at you that is just not, no, it's not cool. It's not good. Whether it's you're in a relationship with somebody and they're gaslighting you, or whether you're at a job or you're a landlord or um, your business or the news, all that stuff. The first thing that he says is really important to do is to ask what you think that input into your life is trying to do to you. Like, what's your initial emotional response to something? You do that before you ask who did it. This kind of like helps you to not focus on who did it as much as to what your own response is to a stimulus. Uh, we can learn a lot from about ourselves from what happened over the last 6 years with that big thing that happened to everyone on the planet that had any news or ability to watch TV. Um, so before we look for a villain, to ask what you think that particular set of information is trying to do to you. And then that's the awareness is super powerful. So if you realize it's trying to make you afraid, check that. Check that and own it that information is scaring me. There's so many different ways to look at it. Say at your job, say maybe your employer is laying off some people and you're not sure if you're going to be in the next cut and you're developing fear. So that information is making you afraid. And now you're able to like, okay, that scares me. Instead of going after like who on the board of directors is making this decision? Is it just the stockholders? Is it just that, maybe whatever? There's so many different situations. Are they getting AI to replace a bunch of jobs? Is the owner of the business looking to retire and looking to sell it and wants to have better paperwork for the next buyer and wants to reduce payroll? Like, there's so much that could go through your mind and go and be happening in that situation. But the end result is you feeling fearful of losing that income. And it's better to know what it's making you feel than to know who it is that's doing it at first. Okay. Number two, once you, this is called audit your dissonance. So when you believe something, when you are certain about something, and you have some sort of information coming at you that maybe shows you what you believe or what you believe, like what you think is written in stone for yourself, maybe isn't true anymore, and you resist it. This happened a lot with that thing that happened in 2020. A huge amount. Very few people got out of that one safely. Very few people. So when you find yourself resisting new information that you know in your deepest deepness between you and God. You know it's good information, and that you might have to change how you feel about something. You want to audit your own dissonance. So if you say this must be, you need to really analyze it and audit why it does that. Why is that must there? What does it protect about you? And is it helping you move into a better position with your life? Okay. What else? Number three, and this is a huge one. And this one, Jason Bashir goes through, and really, he was the first person that really got it into my brain. And I'm sure I knew it all along because I really feel like all the information I share with you, all the information that I get and you get, that we already knew. It's just a matter of kind of like peeling off the perceptive layers and being able to see it. Um, Strange, but I really do believe that. And we'll see. Like maybe one day I'll be like, oh no, and then I'll have to challenge my own dissonance on that firm belief I have. But this one is, if you don't know who Jason Bashir is an ex-con that dedicated his time in prison to studying ancient texts to a level of holy moly. And he is no longer a criminal. It was something that happened when he was very young and he had to serve a lot of time. He's quite an amazing philosopher, or historian, even. He's excellent. So, not that I agree with him all the time or think that everything that he says is true or is real. I know he's not lying, just like I know Chase is not lying. It's their perspective and what they bring to the party, okay? This is the same thing that Chase brings to the party. The same thing Jason Bashir has and Chase Hughes has, and I'm sure many others, maybe even yourself. And this is to break character. So imagine there is an actual villain trying to make you live in fear so that they can have more control and power, right? The one way that it will have a very difficult time controlling you and having power over you is if it can't predict your behavior. And that would be breaking your character and breaking your patterns. Chase talks about how that will in turn make you much more difficult to rush. That'll make you much more difficult to flatter. It'll make you more difficult to be shamed. And all of those things are really important because some of the things that are trying to actually explicitly demand your attention and obedience are using emotional cues constantly to get you to comply. And that's the number one thing is fear. That's probably why in the Bible, that's the number one rule of all of it: have no fear. Fear's fake. I know I use that word fake a lot, or maybe not so much on this brand new channel, but you'll hear me say it more again. Your emotional cues that kind of mold you into the steps you're going to take and the actions you're going to take. You need to like put something on that, because if you're harder to flatter, you're going to be harder to uh, manipulate. If you're harder to rush into something, you're going to be harder to manipulate. If you are going to be harder to shame, which shame is a really big deal, you got to watch that shame, you're going to be harder to manipulate. And the villains that we try to ignore in the first one are depending on you to be predictable with how you react to things emotionally. All sorts of inputs. So that's what he was teaching us about how Truman actually broke free. And he goes through, he knocks it all. Oh my gosh, he's so good. So the thing about like whatever situation you're struggling with right this minute that is giving you, I can make that face really easy right now because I'm having like a day like that. Like we're human. We're going to have, some of us are human, and we're going to have days like that. He says, when you're ready to break free from the situation that makes you super afraid or depressed or violent or seeking um, addictions to get yourself out of something, all that stuff, you're not going to break free from that until, and this is really important when it comes to goal planning, when staying in your current situation and mindset is going to cost you more than leaving it. Let's say that again. I am looking at notes because I'll ramble forever if I don't have them. When staying in your current situation or in the prison you think you live in costs you more than going, is the only time you're ever going to leave it. You've got to be able to handle, you've got to be kind of unshakable. You've got to eliminate what other people think. It's not easy. I found that anytime that I've held onto a particular pattern, it's because I thought I was going to miss out if I let it go. Recently, I talked about I was talking about sobriety and what the sound of a bar room and how, like, I love that sound. That is a signal that I feel like I'm missing out on that. And I'm not. And I know it now. And staying in that situation is going to cost me way more than getting out of it. Cost me way more than the potentiality of me missing that fun time. I hope you understand what I'm saying. When eating ice cream and having Oreo cookies all the time is more dangerous to you in your own mind than not doing that, you're never going to stop. Quitting drinking, quitting cocaine, quitting uh, watching the news, quitting soda, quitting, your addiction to carbohydrates, all that stuff. If you don't feel that the payment that you will be paying for staying in that situation is not bigger than the cost it will be to you to leave it, you're never going to walk away from it. It's never going to work. So, and I think that's true. I think that is a true thing. Um, Absolutely. And today, like, I woke up, and this was crazy, right? This is gonna get into the vlog part. Like, you can see my face. I woke up this morning, and it looked like I had drank a bottle of vodka last night, or actually, no, it looked more like I drank wine or tequila. My eyes were poofy, poofy. Maybe I cried in my dream and didn't know, or cried in my sleep and didn't know. I was like, what on earth? It's probably also has to do with the fact that it's very hot in my apartment. My AC is not doing enough. Um, I don't know, and I didn't like it. And that set me on this little mode. You might not realize it, but I'm pretty vain. I show up here without any makeup and, like, I got wrinkles and I'm overweight right now. I'm working on it. It looks like my neck has a whole, like, fat thing, but that's actually a scar from my neck injury. And it's funny how all these little demons get in. And I'm like, okay, I go out there in the world and I had to do a couple things, but I knew it was hot. I didn't want to go out in the heat, not because I don't like the heat, I do, but because the hallway right outside my door is probably 150 degrees. So downstairs is 90, which is fine. I love that. But if I exert myself in any way, shape, or form in that heat, by the time I get up the stairs, I'm like terrified, fear of fainting and falling down them. So I work myself up into this whole thing. And I get out there in the world And I do my little thing, and I realize that all those inputs are trying to make me feel scared, insignificant, trapped. Because I want a place where I have, my main living area is downstairs with a half bathroom and maybe my bedroom's upstairs. I love my apartment, but I don't want to live in an attic apartment forever. And I certainly don't want to live in one where the exterior stairwell is brutal and it's so good compared to other things. I'm like thinking about like I decided to fill up my water jars with some structured water, and I structure water with some marbles and a little grate, and it's cute and it does taste better. It really does. And I'm doing that, and I'm thinking, and I'm like starting to feel sorry for myself, and I realize all of a sudden I'm looking at the water pouring into my jar, going over the marbles into the jar, so I could bring them up and put the thingy with the marbles back on top of that jar and pour it in. I'm like, holy moly! There's like 80% of the people on this planet don't have water coming out of the fucking faucet in their upstairs apartment. And it's not to say that I don't deserve to have what I desire or what's better, but it also says, what are you bitching about? God talks a lot about having contentment. And granted, the things that we don't like about our lives or in our lives are our standards that are getting raised, and that being uncomfortable is important because you're going to raise up your standards and your life will become better. But being a complainer is not important. Bitching about things is not going to help you. Doing a something about them is like, did I just almost like bust into, what was that? That's cute. So I really highly suggest you go out there and watch the video It's Worse for You by Chase Hughes. The guy is really good at teaching the psychology. He's really good at it. You can go learn all about him. Go learn all about him. Very interesting background and smarter than like. He even has a course. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a membership where he teaches people how to be like rock stars. Like he teaches salespeople a lot, but he also subcontracts for the government to teach them how to do a psyop. And he doesn't. He comes on YouTube and talk. You're going through a psyop, so I want you to check it out. I want you to write down what you hear at the end of that video, the 3 steps that you need, and see if they match what I gleaned from it. And come back and tell me in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. I am getting a lot of messages right now, and that's just a sign that this video needs to come to a close. I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll be back later probably, because I have other stuff and other notes I wanted to go over. I love you all very much, and I will see you on the other side. And I got to get up to turn you off. I'll see you later. Bye.